Hello, I'm Elizabeth and welcome to this lesson. This is just a quick lesson to help you to manage your anxiety and your fears. Okay, I'm going to use a mind jar to help you understand what's going on in your own mind. First of all, when we're babies, we're all born with all the same emotions. Okay, so we're all experiencing happiness sometimes. And sometimes we're all experiencing anger. Sometimes, even as babies, we're all experiencing surprise and disgust and sadness and fear. Okay. So we've all got those emotions inside. As we grow, thoughts attach to those emotions. And sometimes we get stuck in the thinking, and then that produces more of the emotion. And in your case, if you're suffering a little bit too much from anxiety, when you're feeling anxiety, your thoughts are attaching to those feelings, and then you're hanging on to those thoughts, so you're hanging on to those feelings. And so what you want to do is learn to let those thoughts go and learn to cultivate a better way of thinking, a better way of being. Okay, so how can we do that? What we can do is put in thoughts of loving kindness and put in thoughts of gratitude. Okay, and we can do that just by being grateful for our food, being grateful for our parents, people in our lives that love us, just taking the time each day to remember everything that we're grateful for. Or we can just take a few moments each day to really think about the people we love and the things we love. Okay, so we're cultivating our thinking. So we're putting in lots of happiness, okay? And then when we do have thoughts of fear, we're letting them go. We just acknowledge, okay, that thought was a little bit scary. It makes me feel anxious. Or maybe you had that feeling first. You just felt a little bit anxious because you've been thinking lots of anxious thoughts. So by putting in our gratitude and our loving kindness, we're going to slowly learn to outweigh all those scary thoughts that upset us through the day. And another really powerful way to do that is to practice mindfulness of breath. Okay, so every time you have a thought, that thought registers in your brain, just like a computer. Okay, everything gets stored up. And if you stop thinking about certain things, then those thoughts sink to the bottom, and they're not in your conscious mind. They sink down to the subconscious. They can still be there, but you can also not be so reactive because they're not coming up in your conscious mind. All right, so when we do mindfulness of breath practice, we are rewiring our brain to have a whole lot of mindfulness of thought, of breath. Okay, so our mind just pops up with thoughts, return to my breath. We practice that in the morning, just maybe for 2 minutes. Just sit there and just breathe in and out and do nothing but focus on your breathing. And then we do it maybe at lunchtime. And again, we just really concentrate and focus on our breathing. And then we can do it in the afternoon, just for 2 minutes. And again, really focus on nothing but our breath. So we're creating our breath as an anchor. We do it before bed. And again, We're really teaching our brain to keep reminding us to return to our breath. And our breath becomes an anchor to keep us calm and to keep us stable. And the more you practice mindfulness of breath, the more your mind is going to have all those thoughts of how to get away from your anxious thinking. Okay, so when you do experience times where you're feeling really anxious and you don't know how to control what's going on in your mind, you'll also have in there lots of thoughts that are popping up. Even when you're anxious, return to my breath. And then you'll start to also connect with the thoughts of gratitude and the thoughts of loving kindness that you've deliberately and purposefully put into your mind through your training. Okay, so you can see all those mindfulness of breath thoughts in there. And so even when you're feeling anxious, that thought's still going to pop up in there if you do the training. And so when that thought pops up, return to my breath, then you can return to that still place that you know, because you've been training to do that. And then from there, you can hold on to a thought of gratitude. Hold on to a thought that's in loving kindness, a happy thought. Okay, and when the scary thoughts come up, we can just let them go, and we use those thoughts of breath as a pathway to do that. But it's so important that we practice. It's just like when you're doing your times tables and there's a test coming up and you need to know those answers. The only way you're going to get those answers and know those answers is through all your training, all the practice that you did, rehearsing those times tables. Okay, it really is up to you to put in that work if you're going to do well on that test. And it's the same for getting through your anxious thoughts. It's by putting in that effort and doing that mindfulness of breath, even if it's for just 2 minutes. Do it in the morning. Try and take a moment to do it at lunch. Even if you're in the classroom and you feel that nervousness, just return to your breath, and then to thoughts of gratitude or thoughts of loving kindness. Okay, and you will cultivate better ways of thinking, better ways of being. Okay, so I really hope that you've enjoyed this recording, and I'm going to put on a couple of little guided mindfulness of breath lessons for you just to get you started. But you don't need to listen to a recording. You can sit there and just focus on your breathing. Maybe you want to focus on feeling the cool air going into your nose and the slightly warmer air coming out. Or you can focus on your diaphragm, of the movement, going the up and down movement of your diaphragm. And just keep your practice up. Okay, just keep doing it and you will succeed. I hope you've enjoyed this lesson, and thank you for joining me. Bye for now.